Hello, everyone, and welcome to Malu's Resilient People podcast. My name is Mara. I'm a writer, a healing therapist, and a life coach who have met hundreds of people with amazing life experience to be shared. Stay tuned and feel empowered with these inspirational stories.
Carolina Costa is our sixth guest today. Carolina is here to show us that even when you think you hit the bottom rock, there is always hope and positivity in every single thing that happens to us. She will be sharing her intense story in a London's prison and how she overcame that traumatic episode. Hi Carol, welcome to Malu Resilient People podcast. Thanks for receiving us in your beautiful house today. How are you, by the way?
I'm okay. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for inviting us. So starting with your story that you came from Brazil to UK, how old were you when you arrived to this country?
I was 18 years old. Wow. I actually I became 18 on the airplane.
Wow, what a celebration. How was it to arrive here in UK as a young teenager with lots of dreams in the backpack, for sure?
Well, it wasn't easy. As you know, I didn't speak English, so I had to learn from the ground up. I started working pretty much the next day, I would say, with my mom as a cleaner. So you just the other day we're a teenager in Brazil, and then you come to the UK, you have this grown up job and in a foreign country. It wasn't easy, but it was. I mean, at that time and age, it was all a great adventure for me, I believe.
Teenager in UK, young adult. It's always a good experience. So you arrived here. You started to work as soon as you arrived here, and then how was it to get to this busy life here, getting to know people, starting to make friends? How was it?
Well, my mom was here before I was, before I came. So she had her community already, Brazilian community. So she introduced me to them, and I'm the kind of person that makes friends quite easily as well. Chatty, you know. So I made friends quite easily. I you know, they took me around London, showing this beautiful town. And I've always wanted to leave Brazil anyways. I've always dreamed of maybe going to America. But then I came to Europe, and now I just fell in love with London, made lovely friends, which I am still friends with to date. And yeah, I mean, the whole doesn't love London. It's true. I haven't met one person yet.
So your adaptation wasn't so bad, yeah?
No, I would say good. Yeah, I loved it.
And then you got a very, very powerful experience. Yes. So can you tell us a bit on what happened to you when you were at this young age enjoying London, you know?
Yes. So basically what happened was in 2009, I made a mistake of lending my card details to someone to purchase a ticket. So the person came into the UK illegally. Managed to run away from the immigration. So because the person used my card details, I became responsible for the person in the UK. So that counts as facilitating an illegal entrance to the UK. They couldn't find the person anymore, so I took the blame. And the judge said that it was so the Brazilian community could learn from our mistakes, using me as a model.
How old were you at that time?
I think I was about 22.
And you were already responsible for God knows who. Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I think I was 22 to 23 when that happened. And then I was under investigation for about a year and a half.
And can you tell us a bit, how does it work being under investigation? Can you leave the country? Can you go on holidays?
No, you can live your normal life within the four walls of the UK. I couldn't travel abroad. They took my passport. If I were to change jobs, for instance, which it happened, I was to be over to another company. So for me to provide all my documents, which the police had it at the time, I had to contact them. They had to provide certified copies and so on. But you can work, but everything, like my phone, my laptop, everything was
Under investigation.
yeah. So they took it all as evidence and didn't find anything, but still, it took me 2 years to get it back.
Wow. So they did the investigation for 2 years.
Yeah, because I only got everything back once I was actually released.
Okay, so tell us a bit. Basically, you were accused.
So I was charged with 3 counts. So one count is facilitating illegal entrance, and there was another 2 counts of having someone else's passport in my property.
What was the sensation to be on court at such a young age?
Yeah, it was horrible, really. It was a 3 days trial with the jury. It's not the same as you see in America, but they got the judge and then the jury. It's a smaller court than American courts that you see in movies, for instance. But it was horrible feeling like I could see my family, and then us, the defendant, we would stay on behind this glass cabin. I don't know, I can't really explain. It's just like a place that you are there held, and if you're released, fine, then you get out there. But if you don't, then you go out of the back and taken into custody there.
So you don't basically say goodbye to your family.
No.
You just move away from.
Just say bye, just wave and then go.
So they took you to where?
And when I went to trial, so it was 3 days. These 3 days, I show up, from my house to the court, and then on the third day was the guilty or non-guilty verdict. So I was found guilty on the third day, and I was again released using tag on my foot. Yeah, so was released for 22 days into the sentencing. So the sentencing, that's when they could say you're gonna get 3 months in prison or condition, whatever it is, the sentence. I at the time took 15 months imprisonment, but you only have served half of it. So I spent 7.5 months in prison, and then they take into consideration the days that you were on tag. So that was 11 days they took out of my sentence. So what happens then is they told me 15 months. I started crying, panicking. Then the officer comes and escorts you down to a cell, which proper cell bars and everything. Yeah.
Do you also have a uniform, like a orange uniform?
No. But that's when you're in prison. Unless you don't behave, then yes, you do wear an orange jumpsuit.
Really?
Yes.
I was joking, guys. I was joking.
But it's just to highlight that you might be a danger to yourself or to other inmates. So then you have to wear the orange one. But normally you just wear your own clothes.
Okay. So you moved to a woman prison?
To a women's prison in Holloway, which is now closed. And that was a maximum security, which is
maximum security.
Yes. So in UK is class A, which is maximum security. And then I stayed there for about 2 to 3 weeks, and then I was transferred to Morton Hall, which is a class D, which means it's a like
Not so dangerous.
semi open prison. So you have your own room, you got the keys for that room. You go
On the class D one.
on the class D, yeah.
And how is the life on the class A prison?
Oh my God.
What was your experience? Did you met crazy people there? Were you scared?
Yeah, I was very scared, to be honest. The first, like, they try to engage you as much as they can, really, with different classes and gym and like music. Yeah, so you have to do something. In the UK, you don't just spend days in prison. You have to be productive, which I think if every country actually had the same sort of vision, at least for females, prison.
For mental health as well.
Yeah,
always
it
good.
will be much better around the world. So you can work and earn money, or you can study, which I've done both. In Holloway, like, you don't have an option. You have to do it anywhere. You don't have an option. But in Holloway, like, if you don't, you stay in your cell, and you have like
You are isolated
some-
from everyone.
Yes, like you have time to go sunbathing, like not sunbathing, but
Being outside, catching some
being outside,
getting some tan.
Yes. So you have like 45 minutes in the morning, 45 minutes in the afternoon, and then you have that time around that you go to your classes and you work and so on.
So did you share a cell then?
In Holloway, I shared a cell with another 5 inmates, 4 Romanians and an Indian lady.
And were they like dangerous as well? Or
The-
small crimes or
The Romanian ones, at the time when I was arrested, there was a big case, like a big scandal of tax benefits fraud. So these Romanians were part of these 200 people that were arrested. So they were there because of fraud. So I don't think them very dangerous. But the Indian lady, I think she was arrested because she tried to kill her fiance.
wow.
Yes, she had mental issues, I
No, I don't think so. I think she was totally fine.
think.
Oh, so how long have you stayed with them?
Yeah, for about 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Yeah.
And then you moved
And then
outside London.
yeah, so they moved to Wharton Hall, which was in Lincoln.
Okay. Okay. Could your family visit you and boyfriend and everyone could see you, or is it limited, the visits? How does it work?
Yes, so your visits are limited. You can get like priests and pastors to come and see you anytime. But for like proper visitors like family and friends, you have to put a request through. And then there's days that they can come. When I was in Holloway, it was much easier because I lived in North London, so it was 10 minutes for my parents to come and see me. But when I moved to Lincoln, that's like a 2-hour drive. So at the time when I got arrested and sent to prison, I was newly wed. So I was 3 weeks married to my husband. And I didn't see him for the first 3 months. I was in prison. And then, yeah, well, just my parents and friends. And I could only see 3 people at a time per visit.
And that was it for a couple that just got married. Then just you go to the prison, you stay here, you sort it out your life, and I'm going to be stuck in prison. It must have been a very hard
Yeah, well,
moment.
the first time I remember like the days that the first time he actually came to see me. My husband's normally not a person that cries very easily, so is most men anyways. But when he saw me, he started crying, And I was like, made the effort of putting makeup on and so on with the limited resources that we had in prison anyway. But yeah, so you start crying. I start crying, and you can't hug. You can barely hold hands as well. So it's like, oh,
Even on the Class D prison.
yeah, you can't, because then they, can't really tell if you're handing them like a device of some kind. So they're not supposed to have bodily contact.
And can you describe a daily routine in the Class D prison? How was it? What were you doing to spend your time, the tasks that you were doing? Like, how did you get the money?
Yes. So in prison, I think they were quite smart. So when you first get in, you have like an induction day or 3 days, I think. So they go through the health and safety days and blah, blah, blah. And then they ask you, what did you do before you come to prison? So I said, I used to work in cleaning. I was a cleaning manager. They're like, okay, so cleaning you were. So they've allocated me a job for cleaning. Yeah, so I was responsible to clean the governance, which is like the guy that deals with the prison, like the FM. And then the solitary unit, which was a small unit.
Wow.
It was a small one, but I could only clean it if it was empty. If there was inmates there, obviously they would ask me not to go. I did go once only, but that was it. And what else?
Could you watch TV or could you?
I could watch TV only like on my free time.
Okay, but do you have access to the news?
Yes, news, ITV. It's quite good.
It's not so bad, guys. I'm joking. I'm joking.
But it's not so pleasant.
Exactly.
So it's like this.
They make it to look a bit better.
Yeah,
I'd say.
It's humanized. Yeah. So Class D is you wake up, you have to be awake, your bed must be made, and you must be fully closed by 8:15. That's when it's roll count. After roll count 8:15, the guards will take you to your workplace. So if you have work, you go to work. If you have study, you go to class. So that's it until about 11:30. Then you come back with another roll count. Make sure everyone is aware there's
Survive to the breakfast.
yeah. And then if you have appointments like GP appointments, dentist, whatever it is, it must be between these hours. So you have a slip that you can go in and go for your appointment. You're authorized to be walking the patios and the areas that are common areas. Then you go have lunch. After lunch, you have the afternoon sessions where you work, study, whatever it is. Or if you want to, you should go to the gym as well. You get paid to go to the gym to sound healthy. Yeah. And then by 5 o'clock, I think we're back. And then we have dinner. And from 6 o'clock to 8, we have free time. So we can go to each other's room within your common area. So it's divided by buildings. So mine used to call Charmaine, I think. And then there's others. So you can go to each other's room within your own block. Talk to the guards because they were quite friendly with us. Make phone calls, spend time with people. Can go to the chapel, whatever you want to do, really.
Okay. So this is quite a life change.
Very
experience. Exactly. And then suddenly after the 8th month, you come out. And how is it to be back to the real world? Like after so many rules and structure, now here we go, you are outside. Is there any support for people who come out of the prison, mentally, or help to get to the real life again?
I think
finding a job as an example.
Well, to be honest, I didn't rely in the government or any services that were available, because I can say that I have a very good support system, like family wise and friends. So I didn't rely on those services, but I believe maybe you have your probation officer anyway, then you have to report on a weekly basis. I had to report to her twice a week for first month, and then second month he once, or that's how it goes. Like it eases off as the time goes by. But then she would ask me for about 15 minutes. How are you? Did you find a job? Do you have house? Or do you need housing? Help or whatever. But I think she must have another 15 of me on the same day. So it's not like she's going to pay attention to what I'm actually saying. I don't know if she's capable of acting as a therapist, when I came out, I felt the difference. Yeah, because before you leave, they say, look, if for the next 7.5 months, if anything happens, you're back here to serve your full sentence. Wow. Plus the sentence of the crime that you committed to come back. So I was like, oh my gosh.
Putting pressure on you even before leaving.
Yes. So I'm a decent citizen. Yeah, I was someone that committed a crime because I wanted to commit a crime, and I had that bad gene in me. I fell for something, isn't it? So being a citizen abiding person, a law-abiding citizen is what I meant. I freaked out. I was like, oh my God, if I, do anything wrong, if I don't pay my TV license, they're gonna come and,
Oh, obviously.
And so anything. So I remember going to the supermarket, and this announcement came on the how do you call it?
When they ring the bell,
I just decide, oh, welcome to Tesco.
Exactly.
We have a promotion, whatever. So when the announcement came through, I freaked out completely. Like I remember just sitting on
just
the
with
floor.
the noise of the bell.
Because if that happened in prison, it meant something terribly wrong has happened. So you have to rush to your bedroom and stay there. So I remember being this really big Tesco's in Seven Sisters, and the town hall, whatever they call, was going through, and I just sat on the floor and covered my ears. I was like, oh my God. And then someone from Tesco came and said, like,
Oh, you went by yourself?
By myself. Yeah. So it was my first experience in the supermarket on my own. So I panicked. There was nothing to panic about, but it was like you have this much freedom now, and all of these noises again, and all these responsibilities as well that you're not prepared to. Because as a human being, after 20 days, you get used to routine, isn't it? So just imagine for 8 months, you're conditioned to obey, not question, and do as much good as you can. So your record stays, clean, and you come out and that's it.
And then after the return, you had to find a job again and start over. How was it, the process of finding a job again and getting to the market and getting a 9-to-5 job, or just get your career up?
Yeah. So I think like a bit of a miracle happened because when I was arrested and the solicitor came and talked to me and said, look, I know that you used to work for a bank. That was your client. I don't think you're ever going to get a job like that anymore. And I'm like, oh, I cried because it took me so many years to get the position that I was. And then I was released in February 2013. In May 2013, I went for an interview. And I got the job. I was like demoted because I was a site manager for cleaning, and then I became a supervisor. But in a bank, and I completed the form, as you should. And there was a question in the new starter form saying, "Do you have a criminal record?" And I said, oh, no.
What am I going to do?
Yes. I put yes.
You were,
I've done my part.
you were honest.
I
Yeah.
was honest. And then it was like years later that there was a situation at the job that I was at that it came to the attention of senior management that I had a criminal record. And when they went to investigate it, they saw that I was actually honest and I've never lied. It's just because they didn't realize that I was there.
Because you said the truth anyway. It's on them now.
But I stayed with the same company for about 6 years. And and I loved it.
That's good. So, what's your message for the people out there after overcoming such a traumatic experience? Because it's a traumatic experience. What's the message you have for the people?
Well, there's something that I heard from a priest. I'm Christian, but I went to Catholic services that they have. And I remember this priest talking about like everything that we do, everything that we go through, being good or bad, there was someone that already went through worse than we did, which was Christ. And he's saying like for anything that we see the future, for our future, for instance, someone might be in a difficult situation, perhaps, disease or depression, whatever it is, if we just look further out, like further ahead, things might get easier, because someone else already paid the price, let's say. So just don't panic, don't give up, and just look forward because there's something just there. Sometimes
within reach. Sometimes just a cloud covering
out
up.
a while. Sometimes, yes. Because I remember, like in prison, everything that I could think was, I just need to get out of here. I just need to get out of here. And then the prison itself makes you feel like you're never going out, never getting out. You're like, there was a case that they wanted to deport me to Brazil or Italy, whatever. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to lose my home. I've been here for like 10 years at a time. How come? Like, I just got really desperate. And if I had surrendered to that, desperation, I don't think I would have been here today, or I could have been, in a
very bad situation.
In a bad situation again. So it's just holding up to hope. I think it just takes you further when you want to, get out of that situation and just look a little bit further. There's a light there. Just go for it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for being with us today. I'm looking forward to see you in the next episode with another inspiring and powerful story. Follow us on Spotify and check the links below to learn more about us. Stay tuned and see you soon.